Greetings everyone, this is Danny from harrtravel.com and I'm currently on board the beautiful Symphony of the Seas. She is the biggest ship in the world and in my mind the absolute best, so follow me along on this tour. This deck is absolutely packed with incredible things to do, and the first one is the FlowRider. So FlowRider was first introduced on the Freedom of the Seas. I was on the inaugural, one of the first to use it. I loved it. So you can do surfing, you can do boogie boarding. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. And then the next activity over here is the zip line. This is literally going to zip across the boardwalk, so you're going above the ship through the middle of the air as you're sailing through the ocean. It's such an interesting concept. It was introduced on the Oasis of the Seas, and I think, like most things on this ship, perfected on the Symphony. One thing that I did want to let you know is that you're going to have to sign a waiver for all of these things. There's a desk over here where you sign them. Just make sure if your kiddos want to do it that the parents come with them, because they're going to need to authorize that. But lots and lots of cool things to do on the top deck here. So one unique feature that was actually introduced on the Harmony of the Seas is the Ultimate Abyss. It is so cool. Not only is it beautiful, but this slide takes you from all the way up at the top all the way down to the boardwalk, and it is one of the fastest at sea. You actually go into a sled, put your feet into it, and you just slide and have an amazing time. I love sitting at the bottom and hearing all the screams as they come out, having an amazing time. Just across from the Ultimate Abyss is the Wipeout Bar. This is a great bar area to hang out and enjoy because there's so many activities going on up here. What I love is they've put stadium seating in the FlowRider, and then they're gonna have bar stools here a little bit later on. And so you can just kind of sit here, chill, have a drink, and become part of it all. One other space that I wanted to mention really quick is the very back of the ship. So one thing unique about this ship is because they have the Aqua theater in the back, you don't have a ton of spaces at the very back where you can look out. So they have these chairs here. They're going to put more. Once again, we're boarding day right now. They're going to put more of these out here. And when you're sailing away, to me, this is the ultimate place to be. I love being at the back of the ship, watching the wake. Right now, we've got Miami behind us with all of those smaller cruise ships behind us, and we are on the Symphony and loving it. So we're going to continue on over to the second FlowRider. So the Oasis was the first one to have two FlowRiders on there. And what I love about that is you can do, you can surf like this young lady's doing right now, have an amazing time, and wait in line for it, but also you can rent the space out. And if you happen to be in one of the top suites, you're also going to have exclusive access. And also, if you have the key, you're also going to have exclusive access to it. So this makes the experience a little bit better to not have to wait in line. So right at the bottom of the stairs is the golf course. So this is the Symphony Dunes. It's a classic activity. Some of my favorite memories from cruising early on were going and playing miniature golf, because it's something you can do any time of the day, in the evening. Maybe our parents were going out doing their thing, but we got to go play some miniature golf, have some fun. So let me see if I still got it. All right, so this is a par 2. I'll get back to you on that. Let's see if I can put a little slice on this, huh? No. Something tells me I'm in trouble. Oh, too much power. See, I don't know my own strength sometimes, but coming back, she's coming back. No, oh well. Double bogey, you saw that tap. I know, I can't get away with that. Anyways, like I said, mini golf is always fun. It's a complimentary activity. It's great for every single member of the family. I love doing it with my parents. Still, when we cruise, and my daughter, we all love it. So as we continue along, a super unique and interesting feature of this ship, of course, is the boardwalk and the fact that you have balconies that are facing the inside of the ship. So that started with the Oasis of the Seas, and you can see all the way down below, you're gonna have the boardwalk down there, and all of those rooms are gonna have some great people watching. But one thing that you do wanna know is they're not as private as an ocean-facing balcony, because right now from here, I can see all the balconies on this side. But the people that usually take these are ones that want to be part of the entertainment, listen to the music down there, enjoy the Aqua theater shows, and really have that air, the air of a balcony, but without spending a little bit more and getting into a full balcony that's ocean facing. Another super cool feature that debuted on this ship was the Ultimate Family Suite. It's right above the balcony there, and you see you've got a climbing course for the kiddos, you got a hot tub out there, but it's so cool inside. If you want to see what it's all about, check out our video. It's really cool to have a slide in the middle of your room. So another awesome space back here is the sport court. Some of my favorite early memories of Royal Caribbean were my dad and I and my brother playing 3-on-3 tournaments here. My dad's a basketball coach. My brother and I both played on his team, actually. And so we used to have a ton of fun. Also dodgeball, soccer, pickleball, all kinds of fun stuff up here. Let's see if I still got it. Oh! All right, one more. Got to get redemption here, right? No, I better stick with the basketball down on the arcade. But I do know I can make this one. There we go. Another super cool feature that debuted on this ship is the El Loco Fresh Cantina. What I love about it is there's this big move to grab and go, like fast casual concepts. So we're on boarding day here, and used to be you just went to the Windjammer Cafe. But now there's a ton of options, including this, grab-and-go quesadillas and burritos, make your own nachos, which I love. The carnitas were really, really good. And then over here, you've got some fruits and salads and desserts that are all grab and go. So once again, it's just another great option for that fast casual, and I love it throughout the entire cruise. You just want to go grab a quesadilla, burrito, not have to sit down, worry about it. And another thing that I really love is their salsa bar. It's pretty extensive. They've done a great job with it. And frankly, I don't know how they didn't have this fast casual Mexican concept before, because it's working perfectly, and they're putting it on all the other ships now. All right, so another one of my all-time favorites, they have this on both sides of the ship, is the soft serve ice cream. In fact, it is pretty much the only thing that I'm gonna wait in line on at all. I love me some ice cream, some desserts, some soft serve, so make sure you check it out all over the pool deck. So just up the deck, you got a great view of the pool. So right here you have Splashaway Bay, a space dedicated to the little kiddos. I know my daughter absolutely loves it. It's a water slide that she can do. She's almost 4. And then there's a lot of other places where they can hang around, play out, and have a great time. Right in the middle there, you're gonna have Central Park. And so on the other side of Central Park, you also have another pool over there. That's a sports pool where they can play volleyball and things along those lines. Okay, and then you have 2 giant hot tubs over there. On this particular deck, what you're gonna have is a ton of lounge chairs all set up here. You can see that they're right here. And so once we get sailing here in just a couple hours, the entire deck is gonna be filled with that. So you've got tons of space if you want to bake in the sun, or I mean, maybe just want to get a little tan or something like that. You will see some lobsters walking around the ship in the next couple days. It's part of cruising for sure. Okay, so as we continue on, we are now over to a great viewpoint where you can see the beach pool right below me. What's unique about that is you can kind of walk in a little ways, or the bottom loungers are actually in the pool, so you can get your feet nice and wet and cool, because in the Caribbean it gets hot and you want to cool off as much as possible. The other thing this is a great vantage point for is you have the main pool on the other side, and then you also have the perfect storm water slide. So there's 3 of them. I'm going to walk you over to show you the champagne bowl, toilet bowl, whatever you want to call it, but it's a fun water slide, and it's always interesting because each person does it a little bit differently. If you're a bigger guy like me, it's really easy to go around once, maybe even twice, but if you're smaller, sometimes you make halfway of the round and then you just go all the way down and come out the bottom. So once again, ton of great water slide fun. I love the racers, especially doing them with a friend or with my kiddo, and then also the big water slide where you do the twirl around at the very bottom is always an awesome option. So also on the deck, you've got 2 hot tubs on the beach pool side, 2 hot tubs on the main pool side as well. And here's what I was talking about with the water slide. They've got this little peekaboo area where you can see people coming through. It's a lot of fun, and you can see that they swirl around, and once again, that's all weight driven, how fast you get going down that water slide, and then you come out the bottom. I love standing at the bottom sometimes just to watch it because it's a lot of fun. So as we continue on forward, one of the features that I wanted to point out that I love are these cantilevered hot tubs. So they're actually off the side of the ship. This first debuted on Freedom of the Seas. It was a unique and interesting concept, but there's 2 things I love about it. One, it's a great space to get incredible views because you have glass all behind you, and they also put a couple TVs in, so it's a nice place to have a beer, watch a football game, and really enjoy the Caribbean sun with a jacuzzi. Who doesn't like that? All right, so we are now up on the suite deck. So this is accessible only to those that are in Sky and Star Class suites, so a grand suite or above, but it's a great space to have that's private, it's a little bit quieter, and it's away from everything else and everybody else, actually. One new addition on the Symphony of the Seas is this hot tub. I really love that they have it. I think it does add to the entire experience of the suite deck. And as we continue on, you're also gonna have a full shower here, which is great, of course, before you get in and out of the hot tub, but also if it's warm outside, you can just cool off. And as you wrap around, what you'll notice is they've put in this beautiful furniture. So that's one of the things that I've noticed throughout the Symphony of the Seas is that they've really upgraded the furniture compared to like the old school classic cruise furniture. So let me head on up a few stairs here. You've got more of the same types of chairs, and then you have this really massive sun deck. So once again, this is a new addition for the Symphony, and I really like it because if you're staying in a suite and you're a sun lover, this is a great place because right now it's completely quiet. You have the Solarium right below you. On the other side, you're gonna have the bands and everything that's going on the pool deck. But once again, they'll put more chairs up here depending on the need for it. But it's a great place to get some sun. And then as we head on to the other side, what you're gonna see is it's very, very similar, but this is quite a bit of space for only accessible for the suites, basically. So on this side, what I like is because you have the bar on the other side, of course you have bar service on this side, but they also have this really eclectic mix of seating. So you've got these benches, you've got the chairs, you've got these great day beds, and then you also have the loungers where they've put these plush pads on there as well, and these great pillows. So once again, I think the decor has really stepped up on the Symphony of the Seas, and I think in the suite decks, the suites, that's where you can really see it the most. All right, so as we continue on towards the front of the ship, One thing that I noticed from some of the other Oasis Class ships is you don't have an access here, so there's only one key card access on the other side that I came up. But I love this front area too. So you've got a couple day beds and a bunch of chairs, but from here you can look right down on the water slide, which is super cool. That guy, once again, not as big as me, didn't make it all the way around, but you got that, you got the clear water slides, and then you also have the racing water slides on the other side. You've got the 2 pool decks to watch, and then when you look down, you're looking right down on Central Park. So for me, these seats up here, if you love people watching, there's no better place to be on this entire ship. Okay, so now we're heading into the Solarium area. So this is an adults only area, and it's absolutely massive. You're gonna see that. They've got an eclectic mix of seating out here. You've got a ton of these lounger chairs, as you would expect. These are a little bit nicer than the ones that are up on the pool deck, and then they also have these great day beds as well, but those do go pretty quick, something you might wanna keep in mind. As we're heading forward, you can see that we're on the top deck of the Solarium. The Solarium is actually 2 levels, and there's a little bit of different things on each side. So right here, you're gonna have the first hot tub. See here, and one of the really cool things on the Symphony is this beautiful artwork everywhere throughout the entire ship. So this actually changes, and at night it lights up. It's really, really gorgeous. So here you're gonna have the Solarium bar. A great place to grab a drink. Once again, the whole area is adults only, especially once we get sailing here in a few minutes. And then in front of me down there, you're gonna see the Solarium pool as well. Okay, so now I'm on the bottom level of the Solarium. Once again, a huge eclectic mix of seating, but what I love about this is all the chairs in the front look directly out the front of the ship, and then as they curve around, they look out the side of the ship. So really, really beautiful views. They also have a unique feature in this pool. You decide if you like it or not, but it's a see-through acrylic glass wall, so everybody can see you, hello, and you can see everybody else looking out the front. So once again, over here you have more seating, and what I want to do is I want to take you just out to the side here where they have this wing. It's kind of infamous on this ship to go out and take a picture there. I know that every time I'm there I like to do a little Jack and Rose, so let me show you what I'm talking about. So you get a little bit of a better breeze on this side too because you got the open door. And let's head on out to the wing here. All right, absolutely, how's it going?
Awesome.
I love it, I love it. So if you look down here, pretty trippy. You've got glass that goes all the way down to the front, and of course, you've got to bring your spouse up here and, you know, do a little Jack and Rose fun, right? I am the king of the world, or at least the king of the Symphony of the Seas for a few minutes. Go. Okay, so another awesome feature in the Solarium is the Solarium Bistro. As we're walking up to it, I just wanted to point out that throughout this entire ship, they have a ton of live plants. I love that because that's something that Royal Caribbean basically brought to life on a cruise. They were the first ones to really do that, and it's really, really a beautiful addition. So in the Solarium Bistro, you're gonna have an eclectic mix of foods. You have some spa-type foods, a lot of salads, and things along those lines. The fruits are over there. And then I also love that they have a mix. So over here, they have really, really good Indian food. I've enjoyed it. You've got your pasta station here. And what they've done is they've really kind of upped the decor game as far as I'm concerned. So it's so much more beautiful than their older ships, just the way that they've put in these architectural features. Beautiful, beautiful new furniture. And also, but before we go down, I just want to point out one more thing. My favorite station at every place is always going to be, voila, the dessert. Ooh, we don't have time for that right now, do we? All right, bummer. All right, well, any which way. So as we head on out here, I just wanted to point out this is another fast casual option on board, and so it's great to utilize during boarding day and throughout the cruise if you don't want to wait in line or you don't want to sit down and stay any place for too long. As we're heading out, I did want to point out these walls too. Once again, throughout the entire ship, Royal Caribbean has really, really upped the decor game, and it's beautiful. Little wine on the way out throughout the entire ship. They have, well, because it's the biggest ship in the world, they have one of the largest wine collections in the world. So if you're a vinophile, you're gonna have a good time on board this ship. Another venue that debuted on the Symphony of the Seas is Hooked Seafood. I think it's actually the most beautiful venue on the entire ship. So the whole concept of it is that you have a New England seafood shack. They went all out with, of course, the decor. You have the wainscoting, you got the plaid on the walls here, but it's a really big space. So this space on some of the other Oasis Class ships is actually the Solarium bar, but this is a specialty restaurant. There is an upcharge. Use your dining package in here as well, but as someone like me who absolutely loves seafood and really, really loves New England seafood, I think this is a great addition to the ship. You also have, in addition to all this great seating, you got some seating up front here where you can look down below into the Solarium as well. So now we're getting ready to head up to the Windjammer, but I want to point out this super cool feature. I'm a big fan of the movie Big, Tom Hanks back in the day, and as you're walking up, you can play a song. I don't know, let's see. Pretty cool. All right, so now that you're heading into the Windjammer Marketplace, the very first thing you're gonna see is the hand washing station. So they've added this in and they're continuing to add them in. I really like that because it's so important to wash your hands constantly on a cruise to keep yourself clean and safe, but also for everybody else as well, because I don't know what you're bringing on board. All right. So let's continue on, and as we do, the very first thing that you're going to see are these beverage stations. So they're going to have these beverage stations throughout the entire ship where you can pick what you want. I really like these Nestle Vitality waters because they have more than just the the lemonade and the iced tea that they used to have. You've got that strawberry kiwi, and then over here you're going to have your juices, coffee, and tea as well. So what they've done with this, with the Windjammers, they've created all of these different separate areas. So you used to have that old school one long line buffet like they have over there, but in addition to that, they have all of these stations set up. So right here you're going to have the veggie station for salads and things like that. You got a Mediterranean station on the other side. You've got all your rolls. One of the things they always have on boarding day is a giant thing of paella, which makes me super, super, super happy. Spent a lot of time in Spain and absolutely love that. And they've also added a bunch of these grab and go, things that are already ready to go. So you get a little bit more of that fast casual atmosphere. So over here, you're gonna have, I see some Asian food, I see Indian food. Basically, you've got a classic mix of Americana and ethnic foods from around the world. One other thing that I wanted to point out to you right here are these Coca-Cola machines. So essentially, this is an extra cost, but if you have the soda package, you're gonna get a tumbler. You put the tumbler on there, it's gonna read the RFID code, and then you pick, mix and match. I love that because you can get the exact soda that you want. And with vacations and travel in general, the better experience is getting exactly what you want instead of just getting what's there. So as we head back, I just wanted to point out that it's always good to head to the very back of any cruise ship buffet, including this one. So the real reason I love it more than anything else is, well, once again, the dessert bar. But what you'll find is this part's going to be less crowded, and it's also going to have some incredible views. Something they added onto the Symphony that wasn't on the Oasis and Allure is another food station right at the back here. So it really spreads everybody out, and there's a lot more seating and a lot more food. So the whole other side of the buffet is an exact replica, but in the back you have two different stations. I love this. It's a pasta station where you pick, mix and match what you want, and they're going to make it for you custom order. You know what they say about this wall? Spooning lead to forking. You got to watch out. All right, so I'm in the Suite Lounge right now, which is an awesome place that can be accessed by the Star and Sky Class suites anytime. You hang out here. Today is boarding day, and so it's absolutely perfect to come in here first, hang out, relax, don't have to worry about everything else. And then the Coastal Kitchen is the other part of it that we'll go to in just a second. But I wanted to point out, this is where you're going to find your concierges that can help you with anything and everything related to the ship. And because you have special access, you get special access to those as well. So as you come in here, you've got this little food area set up where you can grab and go. It's set up throughout the day. Right now it's some light bites for lunch, and you've got some desserts, my all-time favorites, of course. And then I love having the espresso machine over there that I can utilize whenever I want throughout the cruise. Don't have to go to Starbucks or somewhere else. So when I walk out, what I first notice is there's absolutely massive windows. So this is in the Viking Crown, and you have some incredible windows, amazing light all the way around. So now I'm gonna walk over to the other side of the space, which is actually the Coastal Kitchen. Okay, so you can see here that we transition from the lounge to the kitchen itself. There's a huge bar here as well. If you were, like I said, if you're in the Sky or Star class, you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. I just had breakfast in here. It was fantastic, and it was a really nice option, for especially for the first day or the last day. It really makes a huge difference. So they've got different amounts of seating in here. So right here, you've got a big table for 8, you got 2, 4, 6. And one thing that's really, really cool is if you wrap all the way around to the side here, they even have some really super intimate spaces over there, and then they also have a ton of seating right along the window. So you can choose if you want something that's looking out at the ocean over there, or you can sit here if you want to look down and do some people watching at the pools below, or even down on Central Park. So now we're in the living room, which is the teen hangout area. So you got 12 to 17-year-olds that can hang out in here. The first space that you see here is video games. Of course, teenagers love that. You've got the rockers and a wide assortment of different ones. I see PS4 and a bunch of different games that they have for it, FIFA, Spider-Man, all kinds of stuff. And then they have it's a multi-use space, so they're gonna have programming throughout the day, of course, but this is kind of a lounge chill area, so it's kind of stadium seating here where you can watch a movie. They'll put the movies on to hang out, chill, and relax. And then there's also, even in this particular space, a really cool outdoor space to hang out. So as we're walking around here, you can see there's a mix of furniture, and then it heads right out to the dunes, to the miniature golf course. So in addition to the outdoor space, you've got the ping pong table just on the other side, awesome for teenagers. And just over the side there, you have one of the entrances to the Fuel nightclub for teenagers. But before that, I wanted to head back in real quick. Over here is the really, really beautiful area that I think is stunning for a teen lounge, and that's the Ultra Lounge Hangout. So you see they have an assortment of different seating here. You've got the high tops there. You've got these cool little areas here, a couple nooks. We all know that teenagers love to hang out and get away and kind of go into those nooks. I was a middle school teacher for a long time, and so I think this is an absolutely perfect space for teens. You also have a great library here that, of course, are age specific. So another great activity for teens on board is the Fuel nightclub. So it's kind of the idea of giving them the concept of having an adult experience of the nightclub, but with mocktails and fun music and things that are more oriented towards them. Chicka, chicka, chicka. Yo, teens, what up? Just kidding. All right, so I'm now in Fuel nightclub, which is where they get to hang out, party. This is the DJ booth. Just over there, they have the mocktail bar. I'm gonna head out here, wrap around. So the first thing you'll see is this giant white dance floor here. So they've got the big screen TV. They set this up for movies and things, but for the most part, this is starting in the evening where the kids can just party, have a great time, enjoy themselves in an environment that's specifically for them. I love the seating in here. You've got these beautiful chairs and also these long couches. On a sailing like this, there's hundreds and hundreds of teenagers on board. So some of them will use the space, some of them won't, but if you want to, I think it's an awesome option for your teens. One other really cool thing about this space is it goes into a third space that teens will love. It's not necessarily dedicated only to them like the other two spaces, but we're heading into Challenger's Arcade. Here we go. So this is the main arcade on board. You're gonna have all the games that you would expect. You've got the shooting games, you got the claw grab games. Over on the other side, you're gonna have skee ball and bowling and things along those lines. I love the claw games. It's kind of become a competition on some cruises. Got the awesome driving game here. This new Super Mario, and then of course the classics, air hockey and skee ball over there in the corner, and all of the driving games that we know teens love. One thing that I did want to mention is you're going to want to talk to your teen ahead because these are all extra costs. You can set a budget for them, for the cruise, or for per day, but make sure that you discuss that ahead of time so that you know exactly what they can spend in here so they don't spend a little more than you were expecting. Right across from the Challenger Arcade, you have this new space that I really love. So one thing that they added in is they added these free charging stations. So right now I'm on the pool deck area, and so basically you just select a locker, you create a pin, and then you put your phone in there and you can charge it. You can leave it while you're out of the pool. It's awesome, but also they put in all these automated vending machines, which I think are great, so you can grab all the sundries that you might have forgot at home, Dayquil, NyQuil, any Tums, I eat a little bit on board, sunscreen, but basically anything that you could imagine. And by having this here, it's a lot quicker. You never have to wait. You just come in, use your card, and you're good to go. All right, so now we're heading into the Adventure Ocean Center. So this is the kids club on board Royal Caribbean. It has been the kids club since I went there 20 plus years ago, and I absolutely love the space on here. Okay, so now we are in the heart of the Adventure Ocean Center. And the first thing that we see on the right is the Royal Babies and Tots. So this is gonna be for the youngest cruisers. Head in here. So this is going to be at an additional cost, but they do take care of the littlest kiddos starting at 6 months and going up to 36 months. They'll change them, feed them, and also do some babysitting. It costs a little bit more during the evening, during the day, but it's awesome for mom and dad. All right, so just across is the play area. So this is a place where you have to be supervised by a parent or a family member, but this is a great play space for the littlest kids to come in, have a good time, and then as we continue on, you will see all the spaces that are dedicated to the different age groups starting at 3 years old, and as long as they're potty trained, you can drop them off and you're gonna have service throughout the entire cruise. Okay, so right over here to the right is the Aquanauts. So the Aquanauts are going to be the 3 to 5 year olds. Once again, they have programming throughout. One thing across from there I wanted to point out really quick though is the Imagination Studio. So on both sides of the ship, they have different concepts dedicated to kids who think differently. So this is going to be more of the artistic. You have all kinds of different arts and crafts and things going on. And the other side is going to be the science lab. Okay, so this is the Aquanauts play area, 3 to 5 year olds. You see you've got this little hangout area, you've got a slide, and I love that they have the area underneath available to the kids. I know my daughter always loves to hang out and hide from us, But over here you see the closets, they've got all the art supplies and all the things because you're gonna have activities throughout the day with programming, and of course it is included in the cost of your cruise. All right, so now we're in the Explorers area, which is 6 to 9 year olds. I noticed that it's definitely gonna be a bigger space. They've got more going on. In addition to all the arts and crafts and everything, they got this great little dance floor in the middle for them. They also have video games over on the side to play. But once again, they're gonna have programming throughout the day that's only dedicated to them. One thing that I wanted to point out, they have these doors here. So basically you have to check in and check out. A parent's gonna have to do that. You wanna go on first day and get all signed up, get all the releases set. And you also wanna make sure that you notate which parent or which family member can pick them up, because if they don't do that, they will not allow it. Over here you can get a little idea of the soccer goals and the balls down there. You can play games similar to dodgeball and soccer, but basically they keep them having fun all the time. And I know when I was this age, I absolutely loved the Adventure Ocean Center. So right across here you have the Adventure Science Lab. This is where they're going to do science experiments and really kind of get those kids going who love that kind of thing, hands-on. All right, so this is going to be the final spot. This is the Voyagers area. This is the 9 to 11-year-olds. Once again, you see it's a really large space. You've got all the video games on the side for them. They've got a giant game of Connect 4. They've got the buckets where they do bowling with them. But basically, they're going to have programming throughout the entire cruise. And once again, when I was this age, I loved it. So your kiddo's probably going to love it as well. Okay, so the last part that I want to point out to you is the Adventure Ocean Theater. So this is set up with theater-style seating. They're going to show movies. They'll have different movies throughout the entire cruise. So it's sure that your kiddos are going to love a couple of them. Once again, a great place to go hang out and enjoy and explore. One thing that I love is along the wall as we walk in and out is the pictures of all the people that work here, because basically what really makes this program is not just the spaces and the programming, but it's the people who absolutely love what they do. They all have a background in child development, they all have college degrees, and they're really, really amazing. All right, so just outside the Adventure Ocean Center is an activity that's fun for every member of the family. It's kiddos 12 and up, and it's an escape room. So basically you have to solve this puzzle. This one's called Escape the Rubicon. It's $19.99 per person, but it's a lot of fun to do with your family, especially on vacation. Okay, so now we're heading into the Seven Hearts card room. So as you can imagine, this is a place where you play cards, but they've got chess and checkers and all that kind of stuff. It also doubles as the library. There's not a dedicated library on this ship, but you can see there's quite a bit of space in here. I've seen some pretty crazy bridge tournaments and different things throughout the cruises that I've been on, but a really nice space, and they've also have a little bit of an internet cafe over there, but I think most people use their own devices now. So as I head through this door to, is it nowhere or is it into Wonderland? I don't know. This is the Wonderland restaurant. It was a brand new concept introduced on Quantum, and I love it. It's such an interesting concept. Let me point out something that I think is really, really interesting. So when you come in, your menu is this, right? You can't see anything. And then they'll give you this paintbrush, a little bit of water, dip it in there, and as you do and you paint it, the menu starts to reveal itself. So it takes just a second, and now you can see that you've got ice, fire. They have all kinds of different options here. And then one fun thing too is the kids menu is this little book, and it's all upside down and inside out. So the whole concept of this restaurant is food that looks like something and maybe tastes or has a texture of something else. So one of the things that I know that they did when I dined here is they took an olive, they pureed it, they made it into kind of a juice, and then they put a gelatin over it. So when you bit it, it looked like an olive, it tasted like an olive, but it had kind of that explosion of flavor in your mouth. So as you would expect with a super whimsical restaurant, they also have whimsical furniture here. So you can see the ears, of course, Alice in Wonderland is the theme of it. And I love that they have a really eclectic mix of couches, instead of bench seating, and these high top chairs as well. I also really like that they have an open kitchen. So look at all the decor as you walk through, because there's a lot of things that once again look like something and are something else. So these are these beautiful pictures on the wall that have this great texture, and it looks like it's a full frame until you get up and you realize it's kind of melting into the wall. And then over here on the roof, you're going to have all of the keys to Alice in Wonderland, of course. Huge table here if you're dining with a family of up to 10. And then they also have this great open kitchen concept that I appreciate because you can get those extra smells and things and see what it is. So right here they've got these bird nests that they're making out of pasta. Once again, everything looks like something, tastes like something else, has a different texture, but the food is delicious. So one last fun thing for your kiddos and the family is when you come in, make sure that you find Alice. I know in the local grocery store, my daughter, they hide this little stuffed animal, and she has to find it every single time, and she gets a treasure, but that's just a fun thing to do. So make sure you check out Alice when you're in Wonderland. All right, so now we're heading into Dazzles. So the whole concept of this is a 2-story nightclub, ultra lounge kind of thing. They do have a stage over there in the corner, and you have an eclectic mix of seating. Mostly the same chairs, but you've got some booths in the back, some booths over to the side, and then up above there's a ton more seating as well. But what really makes this space magnificent is the massive 2-story window that looks out on the boardwalk. So during the day, it's not used that often. Sometimes you use it for special events, but I like to come in here during the day, have a seat and read, and then just have really cool views and a really chillax space. So over here in the corner, you are going to have the bar. The one thing I will say about this space is that's the only bar in here. So when it gets really packed at night, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for service, but once again, the space is absolutely beautiful, and it's kind of an evolution of the nightclub concept for Royal Caribbean. So now we're heading out into Central Park. It's such a unique and interesting space. I absolutely love it. I didn't know that something like this could be even on a cruise ship. So there's over 12,000 plants in here. It's amazing. They have an entire team that's dedicated to it. But when you're walking through these different spaces with me, what you'll see is sometimes you cannot imagine that you're even on a cruise ship. Another interesting feature of this is that it's open to the sky. So they always have these great umbrellas here as you're coming out, because if you're dining with your spouse or your friends and it's raining outside, you just want to open that up and protect yourself. Wow, I did that pretty well. Here you go, Vince.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so as we continue on, we're gonna head over to Chop's Grille. So Chop's Grille is one of the all-time Royal Caribbean classics. It's an old-fashioned, unapologetic steakhouse. Okay, as you head through the space, you can see that it looks like a steakhouse. You have these great vinyl seats. You have an eclectic mix of seating as well, where you've got some booths over there. You've got tables up to 10. I think I've seen them that put actually some of those together where they can get up to 16 as well. But if you have a large party, you're gonna wanna make sure that you reserve ahead. So you have this open kitchen concept. Once again, you walk in here and you get this massive wave of smelling that delicious steak and everything they're cooking, and it really adds to the ambiance. One other thing that's super interesting is that they have indoor and outdoor seating as well. All right, so now we're in the outdoor seating area, and one thing that you want to pay attention to is there is a glass roof, so you get the incredible views up, glass on the side. So if there's inclement weather, like it's raining, sometimes there is in the Caribbean, you don't have to worry about it at all. So another really fascinating concept that came with the Oasis of the Seas is the Rising Tide Bar. So right now the bar is actually down on the Promenade deck, and it's going to slowly be moving its way up here to Central Park, and these doors will open and you have a full bar in there where you can ride it. So you go up and down 3 stories. Once again, a very fascinating concept for a cruise ship. As we're heading more into the Central Park space, you'll see as you turn corners, all you see is plants, and of course that incredible living wall that's on both sides. Anytime I pick a Central Park balcony, which is an option on this ship, so you can get a nice balcony, open air and things like that, but you're also facing the inside of the ship. But I always like to pick the ones that are closest to the wall, because I think that's the most beautiful part of the entire Central Park area. So another great upscale venue on board is going to be Central Park 150. It is one of the farm-to-table restaurant concepts. They've got a phenomenal wine list here and just really, really delicious food. Keep in mind that you can use your specialty dining package or you can pay for it as well. But as we wander around, you can see that they have, it's kind of like oversized chairs in here, big plush padded seating, and really beautiful decor. One thing that I love is they always have a beautiful fresh flower arrangement right when you come in, and each of the Oasis Class ships has a unique mosaic that is absolutely stunning. So we're going to continue on, and as I head past Central Park 150, on the other side here you have the other entrance to the Rising Tide Bar. It even tells you when the next departure is, that I absolutely love. And as we continue along, here you go, Vince. Thank you, sir. All right, so as you continue on, you can see a little bit more of this living wall here concept that I was talking about, and then I wanted to turn over to the trellis bar. So this is great. I like that on these ships they're actually set off a little bit to the side, but this is a great place to sit, chill, relax, people watch, and hang out in a really cool environment with plants all around you. Okay, so now we're heading into my favorite part of Central Park. They have this little area where you walk through. They've got little benches and different seating, but you feel like you're not on a cruise ship because you're completely surrounded by plants. They got some beautiful bougainvillea there as well, and you can see a little bit of the living wall here. This goes all the way up. I mentioned it before, but they have an entire team of people that are dedicated to just taking care of this. As we continue along, I wanted to show you this big glass dome here. This leads right down to the Promenade. So one thing that's interesting about the Oasis Class ships, they have these openings so you get a lot of sunlight down in the Royal Promenade, where on the older ships, it's completely closed in. They do have a ton of lighting down there and all that, but it's a totally different concept. So as we continue along, we're gonna get to Jamie's Italian. I think for me personally, this is where I've had my most enjoyable meals over and over again. I love Italian, I love Jamie Oliver, and I think they've done an incredible job with the concept. Okay, so now I'm heading into Jamie's. The decor is really, really beautiful. So you see you have a slicing machine from Parma, Italy, Parmigiano Reggiano, Parma ham, like that's my place. You also have this ultra modern decor here. As you can see, they've got the TVs up there. But one interesting thing that I found is when they made this agreement with Jamie Oliver, one of the concepts was that they had to keep the ingredients to the level that he wanted, and they had to create the dishes exactly as he created them. And what I found is throughout the fleet, every experience that I've had has done that completely. So once again, a little bit more of the decor. If you really want to buy one of Jamie's cookbooks, you can, but this also has a fantastic wine cellar as well. Okay, so just outside of Jamie's, you're gonna find kind of Central Park Square. So this is the main area. You've got a ton of seating all the way around here. You've got some couch seating over there to the side as well. Here you go, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Vince. All right, and now I want to take you into Park Cafe. So I've mentioned throughout the tour that they have some great grab and go options, so you don't have to wait in a long line, you don't have to sit down and have a long meal. So this, to me, is a really, really awesome addition that I love, that they have basically an equivalent on all of the Quantum Class ships and all of the Oasis Class ships as well. All right, so right when you walk in here, you got grab and go salads, you got grab and go fruit, sandwiches that are all pre-made, soup over here as well. My absolute favorite station, my dessert, you know, special friend there. All right, you've got a carvery over here, so it looks like you got some roast beef. You got a salad bar where they will make the salad custom to order and toss it for you. And then there's also a sandwich station as well. If you love a panini, this is a great place. So you can see there's a lot of seating in here. There's also a lot of seating outside as well. So this is just one more place where you can go on board the ship, just grab a quick bite and then go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do. All right, so we're going to continue to zigzag across Central Park. You can see you have more and different seating here. And then as we head on, we're going to head over to the wine bar, which on this ship is called Vintages. So Vintages has some great outdoor seating here. I see that they've expanded that from some of the other Oasis Class ships. And then they also have great indoor seating as well. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is the part of the venue where they're going to do the wine tastings. I've done them in here. A lot of fun, very insightful, especially if you don't know a ton about wine. If you do know a ton, might be a little bit of overkill for you. You see the beautiful decor that they've created, and they have a huge, huge collection of wines and champagnes in here, as you would expect in a wine bar, of course. Hey, fancy meeting you here.
I know. We're following you.
I love it. I love it. All right, so as you continue along, you can see more of the wine collection there. But what I noticed is these super plush, comfy couches and chairs. This is a great place to kind of hide out, hang out. Sometimes I'll even come in here during the day and read a book as well, because it's another one of those spaces that's usually used more in the evening. All right, so as we head out and across for our final crossing of Central Park, I just wanted to point again, they have life on everything. So these are the big posts that have the lights on them, and they even have this beautiful, beautiful star jasmine growing on it. What I also love is that the jasmine gives this nice smell, so you get kind of the ultra sensory experience. One fun thing that I just wanted to point out over here is through the Oasis Class ships, they've added a piece of art. Some of it's a little funky, some of it makes perfect sense. A deer in a park, I can get that. Okay, and finally over here, you have some super high-end retail. So if you want some Cartier, Hublot, or Bulgari, up to you. You can spend quite a bit in there, but one great thing is that it is duty-free. So if you were gonna buy it anyways, or maybe you wanna surprise somebody, this might be the place where you wanna shop for jewelry. All right, so now I'm heading into the Vitality Spa and Fitness Center. It is exactly what it says it is. But one unique thing that I love is right when you walk in here, you have this really nice Vitality Cafe. So I think the seating's a lot better, the space is a lot better than some of the older Oasis Class ships. But what it's all about is it's about healthy food options and choices. So they're gonna have fresh fruits for you. I really love all the different fruit juices and smoothies. And you can make your own concoction or you can use the one you have. And they also have a ton of snack options for you to grab. So maybe you're waiting for a family member who's doing a spa treatment, or maybe you just want a quick snack. Once again, another great area for grab and go. So we're gonna cut across here to the salon. So that's before we get into the main spa area. All right, so inside the beauty salon, over to the side here, you're gonna have basically everything for your hair. So anything you can get done at a salon at home, if you need to get it cut, styled, colored, whatever it is, they can do that here. Over here, you got a space for manicures. Hello. Right. And then finally over here you have a great space for pedicures. They've got 5 stations here with the big massage chairs, and if that's something you're into, this is a great spot for it. Okay, as we continue on, they have a huge retail section. So if you want the high-end spa products, they've got a great selection here. And because it is duty-free, it might be less expensive than it would be at home. Just wanted to point out that they also have a barber shop in here, so they have all the different treatments for the gentlemen as well as the treatments for the ladies as well. Over here, you've got this couch area. Basically, this is a place where they're gonna, up on the screen, they're gonna do different demonstrations, talk about fitness, talk about your body and kind of the things that you wanna do. And then as we head into the fitness center, what you'll be able to see is that you have the additional option to sit down and have one-on-one appointments where they'll do a body analysis, they'll talk about nutrition, they'll coach you on fitness, and you can even do private personal fitness training sessions in here as well. So as we head down into the main part of the gym, they have a ton of different machines down here. So you've got your ellipticals. I love that the treadmills are all over there by the windows. I love looking out the window when I'm doing that. You've got the bikes here, several different kinds. So you've got the seated bikes, the bikes with the back on them, which I really like. And then as we move over further, you're gonna get into where they have all of the machines. So they've got a ton of machines in here. In fact, to me, this is as big as a lot of gyms on land because the ship is so big. They have an amazing assortment of things that you're not gonna find on other cruise ships. So as you continue all the way over on the far side, you're gonna have some more press machines. You're also gonna have your free weights over there and then some more treadmills that have you looking out the side of the window to the ocean. All right, so now we're heading into the spin room. One thing that I really love about this is what they've done is they've had these super interactive and digital spin machines. You've got the shoes over there for the machines, but you see the huge screens up there on the wall. So essentially, while you're doing spin, you're competing with other people, and we all know when there's competition involved, we're gonna push our bodies a little bit harder. I would like to say that I would like to spend maybe a little bit more time in the spa, but on vacation, or sorry, in the gym, I definitely spend time in the spa. But on vacation, I don't do much as I possibly should, but if you're someone on land who does a ton of it, this is a great space for you. So the final space that I wanted to point out right here is the TRX. So they do full TRX classes in here. Once again, if that's something that's, that you're into, this is a great spot for that. And they've got all the different equipment, the medicine balls, the weights, and everything that you need for any of the classes. They also do aerobics classes and yoga in here as well. Okay, so this is a super unique feature to the Oasis Class ships, and we're heading down a flight of stairs to the jogging deck. So one thing that I really love about this is on other ships, a lot of times the jogging decks are up on the top deck. You also have the different lounge chairs up there. You have servers and drinks and all kinds of stuff. And so a lot of times it's more of an obstacle course than a running track. But when we get down here, you see that you have this beautiful, super bright space. I'm going to kind of walk all around the corner as we go. But what's interesting about this is that you really just have to do a little over 2 laps for an entire mile. That's very different than some of the other cruise lines. I was just on one where I think doing the lap on the top was about 12 or 13 laps, something along those lines. One thing that I think is incredibly creative that Royal Caribbean did is this is where they put the lifeboats, and then they also added some different spaces on this. It's not on the other Oasis Class ship. So believe it or not, you have a little bit of lounge space here that's completely separate from the track, so it won't affect it. You've got some ping pong tables, more chairs and things as well. But further up, you're going to have the lifeboat. So one problem on a lot of ships, even the Quantum class, you're going to have these obstructed view rooms. But because of these lifeboats, they've kind of set them off to the side, just blocking the running track. You still get the breeze that comes through, but these massive, massive lifeboats aren't going to block the view of the staterooms. All right, one final thing that I love is they have these motivational things as you go. So 1 lap to go, or maybe 3, work off tonight's dessert. Did I just do that walking from here to there? Because I'm pretty sure that I'm satisfied with my workout today. All right, so let's head back into the gym and I'll show you the spa. All right, so the Symphony of the Sea has a full spa, a full Medi spa as well. They do have acupuncturists on board. I really love that because I've used it a few times myself. I injured myself when I was in Europe, used it a couple times, and I felt a lot better. So let's head into the main part of the spa area here. Over to the right, you're gonna have the Smile Spa. So that's basically where you can do teeth whitening. They have several different treatments that would do that. So if that's something that you're interested in, that could be perfect for you. And then you see they have this great seating coming in. Something I didn't see on the other Oasis Class ships, extra kind of seating to hang out before or after. And now we're gonna head down the ramp. One thing I love is that it separates the space out. So as soon as you get around the corner there, it's quiet, it's serene, and it feels a lot more like a spa than it does a cruise ship. Like I mentioned, they have a full Medi spa. They've got Botox and different things. They also have cool sculpting, kind of a cool concept. So if you just want to eat all cruise and get bigger and bigger, they're just going to sculpt that right off. Make sure you make that appointment the night before or the day before you get off the ship, and weight just falls right off, right? All right, so we're heading down into the main part of the spa. There's some beautiful decor down here. Apparently, our friend Venus is, I don't know what kind of, anyway, maybe she's doing some cool sculpting, and I don't know. But as we head on down, I did want to point out that for those who need accessibility, there is a lift that goes between here and the floor above, because all you have is that beautiful glass stairway coming in. So one thing I did want to talk about is it's very important to make those spa treatment appointments as soon as you get on board the ship, especially if you want it at a specific date or time. If you're open, you're probably going to have a good chance to get it, or maybe you can do it later in the evening or earlier in the morning. One other thing that I wanted to point out is on port days, you're going to get a discount. So if you're a bargain hunter, that may be perfect for you. Maybe you're not getting off on a port, or you're going to go in a little early. So the first space over to here to the left is going to be the relaxation room. So the relaxation room is exactly what it sounds like. It's about relaxation. This is where you go before or after your treatment, where you get your body and your mind in a total Zen state. You just sit, relax. They've got some water, lemon water, tea, and things like that as well. But once again, getting a great spa treatment has a lot to do with the way that your mind is when you go in there. And if you're ready to have a great time and relax, it's going to happen. So the next space that I wanted to point out is the thermal suite. So they have these stone loungers here. I really like using those. They're nice and heated, so it makes your back warm up, and it feels really good, especially when you have a bad back like I do. And then you also have an assortment of different treatments. You've got the aroma steam chamber here. I'm not going to open it up because it'll fog up the camera. Okay, a couple more things I wanted to mention. You have a ton of spa treatment rooms behind here. They have couples massages, mud massages, all kinds of different things. So you can take advantage of those as you like. All right, so now we're gonna head into the conference center. So there's a ton of conference space on board, so if you have a conference, make sure you reach out to Harr Travel. That's something we do a lot of and put together huge groups for all kinds of different things. If you have an affinity, a dance group, maybe you're into quilting, whatever it is, they have the space for it. So as we come in here, you can see also it's great for future education. So a lot of different career paths require that you have training each and every single year. And so we've done a lot of those before. Everybody comes on board, so you get the best of both worlds. You get the learning, you get the credits, and then you also, of course, get to go on an amazing cruise. All right, so now I'm in the Royal Theater. This is an absolutely massive space. It was designed specifically to have Broadway-style shows, and they have two fantastic ones here. So one of them is Hairspray. It's an absolute classic. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. And the other one is Flight. It was a new show that was designed by Royal Caribbean, and it's all about the history of flying, but it's interesting because it starts with Mars, like a fictional trip to Mars, and then finishes with the Wright brothers. So it kind of does it in reverse. But they also use this for comedy and all kinds of different things, but you can see that it's an absolutely massive space and a great place to take in a show, which is, of course, included in the price of your ticket. Royal Caribbean over the last 5-6 years has spent a ton of money investing in entertainment, also in the Aqua Theater and all throughout the entire ship. Okay, so just outside the theater on deck 4 is the entertainment place. The first one that I wanted to point out to you is one of my favorites, which is Jazz on 4. So you can see that they have a very wide assortment of types of music throughout the entire ship. If you're into jazz music, they've got a live band here every single night. Basically, it's just a place to hang out, chill, relax, beautiful furniture. They've got couches and love seats. This is another one of those spaces that I like to utilize during the day. Maybe grab a book, relax, because you can see it's really a venue that's made for the evening. Okay, so right around the corner from Jazz on 4 is my home, away from home, the Diamond Club. As you can see here on the sign, it is open to Diamond and Diamond Plus members. So when you come on in, you're gonna see there's really, really beautiful furniture. It's a great space. It is an indoor space. I used to like that a lot of the Diamond Clubs had beautiful windows and things like that. But what this is all about is it's a lounge dedicated to some of Royal Caribbean's most traveled passengers, and it gives you a couple complimentary things each and every day. So in the evening, you can get your complimentary cocktails either in here. You can see the space is not massive. One thing that I love that they added is you can also get your cocktails at all the different bars and just use your card and have the, just show them that you're a Diamond member and you'll get those. As we continue on through, I'm gonna head through over here where we've got the tea and espresso maker. You can utilize that anytime. Once again, that we don't have to pay for Starbucks if you don't want to, but I love espresso and I come down here all the time. And then finally over here, every single evening, you're gonna have canapes and appetizers to enjoy. So for me personally, I've been a Diamond member for, I think about 15 years now. And so every single night on board, this is where my wife and I usually come. We meet the most interesting people. We really enjoy it, but it's also nice to get a free drink, not gonna lie. All right, so just across from the Diamond Club is the attic. It's a great space. It's a multi-use space. They're gonna have comedy sessions in there all the time. Really fantastic, but you're also gonna use it as a nightclub. They do silent disco. Right now, they're using it as the box office, so when you get on board, that's where you go to go ahead and sign up for any of the shows and make reservations, but we're not gonna go in there right now because essentially it's packed full of people that are signing up for all of their shows. The next space that I want to come into is one that you will only find on Royal Caribbean International, and that of course is Studio B, ice skating rink. All right, so now I am inside Studio B, and as you can see, it's a lot more than just an ice skating rink. You have an entire stadium seating all the way around it. So they are gonna have an ice skating show. It's a full production show like you're gonna find in the theaters. You're gonna love it, but you also can go ice skating yourself. The first time I went on, I was super stoked that they had size 15 ice skates. I'm a pretty big guy, can't find that everywhere. But in addition to using it for that, it's also used for all kinds of activities and events. They set it up and they have the Search for Planet Z laser tag in here. I love laser tag. Going back to the 90s when I was a teenager, that's what we used to do all the time with our friends. We'd go to the laser tag arena and have competitions. Pretty nerdy, I know, but a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. You also have the Quest in here. That's the adults only scavenger hunt. It does get a little risque, so if that's something you're not interested in, you may wanna avoid it. But they also use it for 50 sock hops and all kinds of different things. So right now, you don't have the ice out. They have the cover over it, but they'll bring it out, have the ice out, and then run the Zamboni across it, and it's a lot of fun to watch that and every other thing that goes on inside of Studio B. Just outside Studio B is the casino. They have this nice little walkway that goes around. What I love about it is that it has incredible flow because on the older ships, they weren't quite wide enough. And so the ice skating rink blocked off the entire thing. So I love being able to walk through all the way. Also, I always take this side, which of course is the port side, because when you go into the casino, it's smoke free. So the casino, and there's one spot on the deck where you can smoke. They've limited to that on the Symphony of the Seas, so a lot less than other ships. This is also the spot where you're gonna have the Park West Gallery. You see all the beautiful art around me. I have a lot of clients that come on board and buy art. In fact, some of them book cruises because they want to buy some specific things. It's duty free, and sometimes it's a really good bargain if that's something that you're interested in. So as we go from the Park West, we're gonna head right into the casino. So it's a really, really big casino, as you would expect on the world's largest cruise ship. They have a ton of slot machines. It's all the new high-tech ones, including my all-time favorite, Wheel of Fortune. Anyway, that's the only machine that I seem to win money on in this casino, but a lot of fun. And as you continue on, what you're also going to see is they have all of the table games that you love, in addition to poker. A lot of the cruise lines have gone to the tabletops that are digital for poker. I love that they have the full poker games because that's my favorite thing to do in the casino. They also have roulette, craps, blackjack, 3-card poker, and all the games that you're going to love. And my second favorite game, once again, the only favorite because I seem to win there, is the Ultimate Texas Hold'em. As you continue through the casino, right here is the casino bar. So this is also where the smoking section starts. So that half of the casino is smoking. This half is smoke-free. But as you know, smoke moves around. If you're ultra sensitive to smoking, you may need to avoid the casino altogether. All right, so now we're headed into Azumi, hibachi, and sushi. So this is the Japanese restaurant on board, and it has a mix of dining options. Hey, what's up, bro? I haven't seen you since the Oasis, man. You're looking good. Got a new mustache. Cool stuff. All right, so here you have the hibachi tables. This is a classic. This is an all-time favorite. My daughter loves it. She's 4, and it's really the only specialty restaurant that we want to take her to because there's lots of action going on. The chefs are really fantastic with the kids as well. Get to fling the shrimp and all that fun stuff, like the volcano. But it's really a fun family experience. And what I love is that my wife loves this. She loves all the steak and the seafood and everything. But I love the sushi. So this half of the restaurant is actually the sushi bar. You see, you have an actual sushi bar here. The chefs are fantastic. And they have a mix of Japanese cuisine. But what I love is either side that you're on, you can actually get the sushi when you're in the hibachi as well. So for my family, that's the best of both worlds. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out is the key. This is a brand new concept with Royal Caribbean, where if you're in a standard stateroom, you can actually pay to upgrade. One of the things you get is you get lunch in the main dining room on the day that you board, which is really, really nice. You also get several other features, so make sure that you reach out and ask me about it when you're booking your cruise. All right, so now we're heading into the main dining room. This, once again, is a complimentary option on board. You get to choose if you want early seating, late seating, or my time. Another great option they have is the family dining. Basically, they're going to get your kiddos in and out of here in 30 to 45 minutes, and then it makes the dining a lot better for a family. So as you come in, you're going to see that it's a really beautiful space. On the Voyager class, they debuted these massive 3-story dining rooms that are absolutely beautiful. I love it because it's kind of this massive space where a giant shared experience is happening. One thing that I do miss from the Voyager class is these elegant stairways that they used to have, but of course you have a beautiful chandelier, some incredible art, and a ton of seating in here so they can accommodate everybody on the ship. So now we're heading into the Boardwalk, which is the Coney Island style amusement area on board the ship. It's the first wooden carousel ever built at sea was on the Oasis, and I love that they have these on here where it kind of shows the kids how you build a wooden horse. So it kind of shows how it's put all together and the different stages. So here it's starting to get painted, and then over there you got the next level, and then the final piece is right in front of the absolute beautiful merry-go-round carousel that they have right there, all wooden figurines. Over to my left is the Boardwalk Doghouse. Those of you who love hot dogs, brats, and everything along those lines, they do a great job with it, and it is a complimentary option on board the cruise. So as we continue along, our next spot is Sugar Beach. So if you want that sugar rush, this is the spot for you. They're gonna have tons of different kinds of candy. They also have ice cream, and basically you need to know that this is an extra fee that you pay for, but if you have a sugar tooth or a sweet tooth, it is met here. Okay, so the next one is the Surf Shack. That's gonna be a retail spot where you're gonna find beachy clothes like Quicksilver and things along those lines. The next stop is Johnny Rockets. I love Johnny Rockets, I'm not gonna lie, not gonna apologize about it. They opened the first one up on the Voyager of the Seas. It's been on every single Royal Caribbean ship since then. They have this great outdoor seating area here, and then as we head inside, what you'll see is it's just a really, really super cool 50s style diner. The only thing I don't love in here that they took away from some of the other ships, they used to have the jukeboxes at every single table, but it does look like a diner. You've got some great food. I love the onion rings and the chili. Those are my 2 all-time favorites, but you may not want to hang around with me too much after I eat the chili. All right, so directly across from Johnny Rockets is Playmakers. It debuted on the Symphony of the Seas, and it has been a smashing success. They're putting it on all the ships that they renovate for a very good reason. It has a fantastic bar pub menu. You've got nachos, you have loaded potato wedges. My favorite is the wings because I love wings absolutely everywhere. But what's cool about it is they have a ton of TVs. I think I heard there was over 70 TVs in there, and right now I'm watching college football. I love that Royal Caribbean recently made a massive investment where they spent a ton of money to buy licensing for college football, NFL, MLB, and other sports so that you can watch your favorite games while on the ship. The next thing that we're gonna run into is this kids climbing wall. Super duper fun, where they're safe because they got the netting in there. You also have the same thing on the Ultimate Family Suite, so your kiddos get it in a private fashion. Okay, so now that we're on the boardwalk, you can see where we have the landing zone for the Ultimate Abyss. It's closed right now, but pretty soon you're gonna be hearing screams of joy as people come down and zip all the way out and through. It's a blast, and it's also fun to sit at Playmakers and watching everybody come out. Everybody's got their hair all messed up, going, woo, what's going on? Pretty cool stuff. The next feature that I wanted to point out is the rock climbing wall, and they have not one but 2 rock climbing walls on board this ship. It debuted with Royal Caribbean, I believe on the Voyager of the Seas. It's just a fun activity. It's an active thing that you can do on board. And if you happen to be in one of the Aqua Theater suites, you actually get some great views of that. All right, so now we are in the Aqua Theater and you can see what I'm talking about. The show is gonna absolutely blow your mind. Nothing like this existed ever before Royal Caribbean came up with it. We're in the very, very back of the ship and you've got a pool behind me. It's not a pool right now, it's a flat stage, but it's gonna go down into the bottom, the water's gonna come up, and the divers are gonna dive from the very highest points. These are unbelievable and incredible athletes. But it's more than just diving. This show is totally interactive, it's high energy, it's high power, and it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. From this angle, you can see the Aqua Theater suites right behind me. Once again, those are my favorite rooms on the entire ship. You get the serenity of the ocean. You also get the energy of the Aqua Theater and the boardwalk. Make sure you check out our videos. We got videos of all the Aqua Theater rooms, and you're gonna absolutely love them. Towards the front of the boardwalk, you're also gonna have a second arcade on board. It's a really big arcade and it's a lot of fun. And in addition to all the games inside there, you also have the arcade games out here, including my all-time favorite, little Pop-A-Shot basketball game, where I always set the record. I always am the champion. Well, maybe Taylor did it this time, but anyway, what can you do? All right, so just above the Royal Promenade, you're gonna find 2 spaces. The first one is the Shore Excursions Desk. One thing that I really love that they've done with this ship as the technology has improved, they've created these, or they put these little iPads in here so you can learn about the excursions. You can just tap your card there. You can even purchase them. There's also people here as well to answer all of your questions. And further on, you're gonna have the photo area. One cool thing, once again, you just take your card, you tap it on there, and it's gonna show you all the pictures that you took on the entire cruise instead of having to dig through them like you used to. And you can purchase whichever ones that you want. All right, so now we're heading into the Schooner bar. Before we do, I just wanted to point out this is where the loyalty desk is on board the ship. They moved the next cruise down to the Promenade, but if you have any questions about your Crown and Anchor Society membership, they're the ones that'll help you with that. For me personally, the Schooner bar is what makes a Royal Caribbean ship. It's my favorite bar on board. I've been on every single Royal Caribbean ship, and I always enjoy utilizing the Schooner bar. So it's set up with this nautical theme. I always kind of think of it as like a pirate ship going on here. You can see they have the beautiful Schooner models over there. And then on the bar over here, you've got the front, basically what looks like the front of a ship. So the bartenders in here are always about having a good time, and they have a piano where they do sing-along throughout the day. So once again, this is a venue that Royal Caribbean can never get rid of, or everybody would be up in arms for sure. All right, so now I'm headed down to the Royal Promenade. This debuted on the Voyager of the Seas, once again on every ship since then, and it's such a cool idea to have a multi-level interior space, kind of like a shopping mall, but there's a ton of venues on here. The first one that I wanted to point out is the Bionic Bar. It's super cool. You have robot bartenders. So you grab the iPad, you place an order, and if you can see, you have all of the alcohols up here on top, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna tap each one of them, create the drink, of course, they're gonna shake it up for you, and then they're gonna pour it, slide it on out, and add it to you, and it's a lot of fun. All right, so over in the corner, you're gonna have the Voom Internet Center over there, some retail, and then guest services. My high recommendation to you is that you avoid guest services the evening before the cruise ends and right when you board, unless you absolutely have to. You can see there's a pretty big line there right now because today is boarding day. Right here is the Rising Tide Bar. I talked about it up in the Central Park, but as you can see, it's a great bar venue, and pretty soon that's gonna start raising up. They have these really cool fountains that are gonna go as well. As you can see, you have a ton of retail here. You've got the collection over there. I did want to point out this sculpture. It is a smushed Volkswagen Bug. It's really cool. It's kind of a modern new age. The chairman of Royal Caribbean loves cars and loves teddy bears, so you're going to find a car, usually with a teddy bear in it somewhere, on board all the Royal Promenades. Over here is the Cafe Promenade. It's another one of those fast casuals, grab-and-go foods. You're gonna have sandwiches, beverages, and things like that throughout the day. You can see right now is boarding day. It gets a little busy down here, and you also have all kinds of parties down here. This is the space that is absolutely jam-packed with energy. So the next venue is the shop, which is gonna be the Royal Caribbean logo shop. So if you're a Royal Caribbean fan, that's where you're gonna get everything that has to do with that. And then across the way from here is Sorrento's Pizza. Okay, so Sorrento's Pizza is gonna be open super late. I know after you go to the club, this is usually the spot that a lot of people get out, but it's open all throughout the day. Once again, fast casual, some pizza, sandwiches, and of course, delicious desserts. Directly across from Sorrento's Pizza is gonna be the Copper and Kettle Pub. It's meant to be a British, Irish pub. It's a fun space. You see they have spots out here on the boardwalk. Great spot for parades, just so you know. But as you come in here, you can see that there's a beautiful pub atmosphere. They have a stage over there in the corner. They usually have a live musician that's singing along. Usually they sing songs that everybody knows, and pretty soon this whole bar, after a few drinks, is absolutely rocking. Okay, so as we continue on down the promenade, you can see there's more retail. This is where you're gonna buy duty-free alcohol. They also have cigarettes and things like that in there. So if you need that, it's great because you don't have to pay duties on it, you don't have to pay taxes. It's a lot cheaper. Keep in mind, whatever you purchase will not be given to you to the last night to take off the ship. It's not meant to be consumed on board. So on the other side here, you've got more retail over there, the Regalia Jewelry Store. Of course, there's so much retail on here that it's such an advantage to have the duty-free that you have a ton of options. It's really up to you what you want to spend. Some people go on a cruise and spend nothing. Some people go on a cruise and spend a ton. Here's the Solarium Beauty, where you're going to find all kinds of different makeups and perfumes. Once again, duty-free. I do love this really, really beautiful sculpture, and right above it, you can see the water slide. So I pointed it out when we were up in Central Park, but I love that it's open to the external space, so you get that light coming in here. It's super, super cool. The next venue that we're gonna head into is On Air. So that's right here. On Air serves a couple purposes, like all the venues on board do as well. So you got a little DJ booth there. You got a little bit of a dance floor, but in reality, this is meant for karaoke and other kind of stage entertainment. You've got the bar over there on the side and stadium seating, so you can see everybody. I've been known to sing a song or two of karaoke on board, but usually after I've had a few drinks. What can I say? All right, so just outside of On Air, you are going to have a Starbucks. This is not a fake Starbucks, this is a real Starbucks. It does everything that your Starbucks at home has. As you can see here, it debuted on the Oasis of the Seas. Royal Caribbean was the first cruise line to ever have a Starbucks, and if you love starting your morning with Starbucks at home, it's great to do it here as well. Right across from Starbucks is Boleros. So right now, as throughout the boarding day, they have a lot of things going on. So right now they are signing people up in there for different events. But Boleros is the Latin-themed nightclub that will be rocking as soon as it opens up. You know that if you love to dance with a little bit of Latin flair, you have more fun in life. You can see it's a beautiful, giant, colorful bar and room in here. They've added a ton of new furniture options. You got the big couches, the loungers over there, and then you also have the chairs. But I love to come in here every single night. If you don't love to dance, which it's fun, but if you don't, this is some optimal people watching and probably the best on board the entire ship. Okay, so on the boardwalk, they have the next cruise desk. I really love it because what it does is it allows you to basically book your next cruise on board and get a great discount. You can do one of two options. You can pick the cruise, they'll help you with that, or you can just buy a certificate, and then you can basically pick the sailing within 2 months, you get up to $600 off or up to $600 in onboard credit. I always recommend that my clients do that. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour of the beautiful Symphony of the Seas. She is an incredible ship, unlike anything else out there from any other cruise line. Please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications. It makes a huge difference to us. It allows us to make more videos like this. We love cruising. We love sharing cruising with the world, so we'd love to share